Hey guys, so today I filmed this get ready with me makeup look. This is a makeup look that I wear out a lot if I just want to look put together, not too glam or not too crazy. This is my go-to look and I hope you guys enjoy this look. If you want to achieve it, keep watching. So I've already washed my face and I've washed my hands and we're going to move on to the first step, which is moisturizing our face. And now we're going to moisturize our under eye area and I'm going to use this MAC Fast Response Eye Cream. This is really hydrating for the under eye area and it prevents my concealer from creasing, so I really like it. It's not really drying, it's really hydrating, but it doesn't leave a residue or anything. So I also get it on top of my eyelids and just use patting motions to blend that in. Now we're going to moisturize our lips. I'm going to use my Aquaphor lip balm. Now that we've moisturized our skin, we're going to move on to step 2, which is priming. I use 2 primers. I use the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer, and I also use the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer, and this is the smoothing primer. It's really good if you have pores, like larger pores here, or like any texture on your skin. This will help smooth it out, and I use this one as just an all-over primer. And shake it up a little bit, and then squirt it onto your hand. Now I'm going in with the Makeup Forever, and I just tap it into my fingertips and then pat it into my skin. And I focus it in this T-zone area, which is like right here and right here where you tend to get larger pores. I also like to bring it on to my chin. Now I'm gonna move on to a little bit of color correcting, and I'm gonna use my MAC Prep and Prime highlighting pen. And this is the orange color, it's called Peach Luster. And I really like it because it's lightweight and blendable, but it gives you that color correcting effect. And I use it under my eyes, and the orange will counteract dark spots and dark circles. So I use it under my eyes and anywhere else I wanna cancel out dark spots. Seems like a lot of product to put on before foundation, but it's really lightweight, so you can pack it on and build it up to a fuller coverage. And to blend that out, I'm going to use my Morphe G2 brush, and I'm going to spray it with a little bit of Fix Plus just to cancel out any cakiness. And I like to go like this, close my eyes and just swirl the brush around near the inner corner of my eye very gently, just because sometimes I get creasing on my upper lid. So just look up and blend that out. Now I'm going to move on to foundation, and I'm going to be using MAC Pro Longwear. This is a really good foundation if you want to last all day. Like, I find that this lasts me about 10 to 12 hours, maybe even more. If you're going to wear makeup for that long, I would definitely go for MAC Pro Longwear. Even if you're running errands and sweating and stuff, this will not budge. It will not crease. It will not slip and slide. This foundation is amazing. It's my go-to. The shade I'm in, that I've been in for about like 2 or 3 years, is NW43, but I went in to get another one because I felt like the NW43 was a bit orange. Not NC45, I got matched to it, but it's a little yellow. This is too orange and this is too yellow, so I'm just gonna mix them together to get my perfect shade. Just mix it on the back of your hand. If you have to mix foundations, you know, mix it on the back of your hand. I'm gonna use a Makeup Geek face buffer brush. I spray that with a little bit of Fix Plus. So I start with patting motions to get the product into my skin. This will also give you a fuller coverage. And then I go in with like sliding motions. And remember to bring the product down to your neck. Now we're going to move on to highlighting our face with concealer and highlighting pens. Concealer I use is Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer, and I use the color Medium Dark Warm. I also have the color Medium Dark Neutral. It's just different undertones. On top of this, I add MAC Prep and Prime in the color Bright Forecast. And I like to bring the concealer a little bit closer in by my nose, because that way when we blend it out, it'll give us like a natural contour on our nose. So Just put that, you can put that a little bit on your eyelid to act as a primer if you're gonna do eyeshadow. And with the MAC Prep and Prime highlighter, I'll just get some of the product on the tip and then use my finger and pat that in. So push some of the product out, get it on your finger and pat it in. I feel like this works better than just using the brush and putting it onto your skin. And the warmth of your finger when you pat the product in will help it blend easily. And now that I've got my highlighter applied, I'm gonna get my translucent powder ready. This is the Laura Mercier. So I like to set my concealer as soon as it's done being blended out. So I like to get the setting powder ready on the brush. I'll just set that aside. I'm gonna blend out my under eye concealer using the Morphe G2 brush we used earlier. This concealer is really great. I find that it doesn't crease on me as much as other concealers do. I would probably compare this to MAC Pro Longwear, but I feel like MAC Pro Longwear is probably a little bit better. But this is really good. This is like an everyday concealer I use. Super easy to blend out, super easy to apply and go over the eyelid. Also, just make sure there's no lines, make sure everything's blended in. And again, I use these circular motions just to get any creases off my upper lid. So that is the concealer basically blended. I'm just gonna keep blending so my concealer doesn't set. And now I'm gonna look up and blend out my concealer one more time. I like to blend going upward. And then I'm gonna take my loose setting powder, the Laura Mercier, and just set my concealer. And I got the setting powder on both sides of this brush. It's an e.l.f. brush, so I wouldn't have to dip back in. And this is basically like baking because I'm gonna go back in with another brush and just wipe everything off. While your under eye concealer sets, we're gonna move on to cream contour. I start with cream contour first, and then I'll use other powder products to deepen the contour. I like to use the Cover FX contour kit, and this is in the shade N Deep. And I'm gonna go in with this Makeup Geek angled contour brush, and I'm gonna take the lighter contour shade, which is N90. And this is gonna act as our transition contour color, basically, kind of like a bronzer. And to start deepening our cream contour, I like to mix the N90 color and this other darker color, which is N120. So I like to mix the two. Now I'm gonna clean up my contour just a little bit using the lighter shade. Apply it using a Sigma concealer brush, F57, and I'll blend it out again using the Morphe G2 brush. Now that our cream contour is done, we're gonna sweep off the excess powder that we have under our eyes. And the technique that I use to this is I'll just get a fluffy brush. Any fluffy brush is fine. I use the Real Techniques one. These are really inexpensive. You can find them at Ulta. Dip it into this MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the color Sun Power. And I'll dip it into my MAC Studio Fix powder in the color NC45. I dip it into both of these just to get rid of any grayness or ashiness that the loose setting powder might have left under our eyes. So I just very gently. You don't want to be too harsh with this. You don't want to press like so hard into your skin because that'll get rid of the concealer product. So you just want to wipe it away. And I use different motions just to get all of the product off. And now that we've set our under eye area, we're gonna set our cream contour and also deepen it up a little bit. We're gonna go on to bronzing, and I use the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the color Dark Deep. And I'm using the Sephora Pro Contour Blush Contour Brush. With powder bronzing and contouring, I like to stay in the shape of a 3. So, like I like to apply the product and blend it out in this kind of motion, We're in this kind of motion. I'm just gonna deepen the contour with this color from Sleek Cosmetics. And I'm using my NARS Ita brush. So I'm placing the color and then just blending it out upward. Place the color and then blend it upward. I like to pull my hair back a little bit and then move my face to this side so I can see the hollows of my cheeks and my cheekbones. So that is the contour done. Now I'm gonna set my face with MAC Studio Fix powder in the color NW43, and I'm using a Sigma tapered face brush. I always set my foundation with powder, always. And I have to set it with MAC powder. I can't like set it with a translucent powder because then my face will just look white. And now I'm gonna move on to blush. I'm using MAC blush in Gingerly. And now I'm gonna move on to powder highlight, and I'm gonna use MAC Oh Darling and this Anastasia A23 brush. I just got this, so I'm using it for the first time right now. And I'm gonna spray it with Fix Plus. I like to just wipe off or like dab off any excess wetness. The brush has to be perfectly damp for my highlighter to look good. That highlight though, if you spray your brush a little more, then dab a little more, it'll just intensify it. I like to go over my brow and under my brow and on the tip of my nose. So the highlighter is looking a little harsh with the blush and the contour and everything, so we're gonna blend everything out using a MAC 107 brush. And on top of that, I actually want to add just a little bit of this Becca highlighter and in the color Champagne Pop. Now I'm quickly just going to do some eyeshadow to define my crease with this color called Caramel from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's in the Amrezy palette, and I'm using a Morphe M504 brush. I'm just placing that into my crease. And I'm going to deepen that up a little bit using the color Deep Plum, just in the outer corner. I'm not bringing in this color all the way in, just about right here, about halfway. And going back in with the Morphe M504, just blend it all out. For the lid color, I'm just gonna get a little bit of this vanilla. This color is really white, so I'm just using a little bit to brighten up the lid. And you can also bring it into the inner corner for an inner corner highlight. For my inner corner highlight, I'm just gonna use some of that Becca Champagne Pop. So I'm gonna add it to my brow bone. I'm gonna move on to winged liner, and I'm gonna use my Maybelline Eye Studio gel liner in the color Black is Black. This is the first ever gel liner I ever bought when I was like in 7th grade. It's pretty. I like to start in the middle of my eye and drag it outward, but not create the wing yet, just fill in the outer part of my eye and then fill in the inner part. So here's the liner on without the wing, and I'm just gonna make a small little line for the wing. And pull it in. So there's the wing liner, and now to do the other eye. So start in the middle and use small swiping motions. So my wing liner is done, and now I'm just gonna add some black eyeliner to my lower lash line. I usually always use this Buxom liner in the color Call Me. It's really good. It's a little expensive, so if you guys want a drugstore brand, I use the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Never Fail eyeliner in the color Carbon Black. This is what I used to use all the time. I've bought probably like 50 of them or something. I've used this since I was in like junior high. Smudge that out a little bit using a Sigma short shader brush. The number is E20. And now I'm gonna curl my lashes just a little bit. I don't want them like sticking straight up or anything. Add some mascara. Usually if I'm in a rush, I'll just use a little bit of this Miss Manga mascara, and then I'll just add some of this Maybelline Falsies or Too Faced Better Than Sex. So any of these three, combination of two, combination of all three, or just one of them. If I'm in a rush, I'll just grab any of these. But since I have a little bit of time today, I'm gonna use this Voluminous Superstar mascara. It has a primer, which is white, and the mascara on the other side. I really like this a lot. I've never tried any of these like primer mascaras. This is my first one that I've ever tried, and I really like it. Mine is a little bit dried out right now, the white side, so that's why I don't have to wait too long for it to dry on my eyelashes. But if you go in with it right away, like use the primer and then go straight in with it with the black mascara, it's not really gonna work out as well. Just gotta wait for it to dry a tiny bit. And sometimes I like to top that off with a little bit of Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I like to squint my eyes and then just focus this on the ends of my lashes. For the bottom lashes, I use the Rimmel Lash Accelerator. Now to move on to our last step, which is our lip color. So we're gonna start off by lining your lips with MAC Chestnut Lip Liner. If you have lip balm on, you can just pat or wipe off any of the excess. Because sometimes if you have lip balm on and you try to put your lipstick or lip liner on top of a lip balm, you're not gonna get the pigmentation and the color payoff that you want. So just pat it off. I'm not gonna fill in my lips with this color just because it's dark. I just use it so my lips don't disappear, so the outline of my lip doesn't disappear. I'm gonna fill that in with MAC lip liner in the shade Nice and Spicy. If I use just the Nice and Spicy alone, the outline of my lips disappears and my lip shape just looks weird. So I always line my lips. This is the color Dulce Vita. Now I'm gonna grab some of the color onto a lip brush. Mine got destroyed, so that's why I have to use a lip brush. And lastly, I'm just gonna comb through my eyebrows. This is the final look. I hope you guys like this get ready. This makeup look is something that I would wear if I'm just going out running errands or something. I know it seems like a lot of makeup, but this is just how much makeup I like to wear. It's a preference. You could skip the color correcting, you could skip the wing liner, the highlight, the blush, the contour, all that stuff to suit your preference, but this is what I like. If you guys like this video, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. So love you guys, thanks.